One small change in the whites of your eyes can signal more than you think. Ignore it, and the risk to your liver and everyday energy can quietly grow. Stay with me for a clear, safe plan to understand the sign and support your health. No hype, just what works. If you have ever looked in the mirror and noticed that the whites of your eyes seem a little less white, almost like they have a subtle straw yellow tint under natural light, you are not imagining things, and you are not being dramatic. I'm here to walk you through what that change might mean, what it does not mean, and the calm, practical steps you can take today to protect your liver and, by extension, your overall well-being. Stick with me until the end of this journey, because I'll also share a bonus. A simple daily pairing you can try in your kitchen, plus a quick checklist of smart swaps drawn from everyday North American habits that make a real difference when they become routine. Let's start with the sign itself. A yellowish hue in the eyes, especially visible when you're standing by a window or stepping outside, can be a marker of elevated bilirubin, a pigment produced when our bodies recycle old red blood cells. The liver usually packages bilirubin for safe exit through bile. If that system slows down or gets backlogged, bilirubin can build up and color tissues that have a lot of elastin and fat, like the sclera, the white of the eye, and, in some cases, the skin. This is not an instant reason for panic, and it is not a DIY diagnosis. It is, however, a meaningful nudge to pay attention and to talk with a qualified professional, especially if the color is persistent or accompanied by other changes you'll learn about soon. A small but important nuance. There are benign conditions, such as Gilbert's syndrome, where bilirubin drifts a bit higher without signaling major disease. There are also temporary situations, after an illness, fasting, or heavy exertion, where numbers fluctuate. That said, you deserve clarity. The goal is not to self-label. The goal is to notice early and respond thoughtfully. Your liver is an uncomplaining workhorse. It filters, stores, builds, and balances, often without a single complaint, until a whisper appears in a place you can't ignore. Here's how to observe that whisper wisely. First, check your eyes in soft daylight rather than under warm bathroom bulbs, which can cast a yellow tone on everything. Hold down your lower eyelid gently and look for color on the exposed sclera. If you wear contact lenses or heavy makeup, do the check before you put anything on. Keep a brief log for a week, just a few lines noting what you see, what you ate, your energy level, and any medications or supplements you took. This simple habit is powerful because patterns often show up before problems do. And if you do seek medical care, your notes will help your clinician more than you might think. While we're building awareness, let's fortify the basics that support liver workload day in and day out. Hydration matters more than most of us admit. Aim to sip water across the day, not chug it at night. If you live in a North American rhythm of refills at casual restaurants, consider swapping one soda top-off for sparkling water with lemon. Your palate adapts fast, and your liver will not miss the high-fructose corn syrup. If weekends sometimes mean multiple drinks, pencil in alcohol-free days during the week and be extra careful with acetaminophen, paracetamol. Read the label. Really read it, because the same ingredient hides in cold flu syrups and PM formulas, and mixing it with alcohol can strain your liver. None of this requires perfection. It only asks for attention. Nourishment counts too. Think of your plate in terms of color and fiber rather than carbs versus fat debates. Oats at breakfast instead of a sugar-loaded cereal, a generous scoop of leafy greens at lunch, beans or lentils in your chili, and a piece of fruit instead of a second pastry at the office box. These are quiet shifts that lighten the liver's burden over time. If coffee is part of your morning, you may keep it, plain, filtered, and in moderation, unless your clinician has told you otherwise. And when you cook, choose methods that don't smoke up the kitchen and your lungs with excess oil. Baking, steaming, or sautéing at moderate heat protects both flavor and you. A word on supplements and detoxes. It's tempting to order a miracle cleanse when you're worried, but extreme regimens can backfire. Your liver does not need punishment, it needs equilibrium. If you love herbs and spices, think culinary doses first. Turmeric, ginger, garlic, and a squeeze of citrus can make dinner delicious without courting trouble. Save concentrated extracts, megadoses, and complicated blends for a conversation with your healthcare provider, especially if you take prescription medicines. All of this comes back to a posture of calm observation. You're not trying to catch yourself doing something wrong. You're learning to notice earlier and to respond sooner. If the whites of your eyes look more yellow than they used to, it's simply a prompt. Get good light, keep notes, care for the basics, and book a check-in if the change persists or if other symptoms join the picture. Small steps, stacked consistently, have a way of compounding into real protection. This is education, not a replacement for medical care. If anything you hear raises concern, let it guide you toward professional advice. You deserve to feel informed and in charge of your next step. And because commitment beats fear, here's your gentle challenge for the week. Swap one sugary beverage for sparkling water with citrus. Add one high-fiber food to your plate each day, and schedule adequate sleep. These are not flashy, but they create room for your liver to do what it already does best. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just keep your results small. It could also lead to serious side effects, particularly if you have underlying conditions or take medications. Please don't skip it. Let's take a breath and build on what you just learned. If noticing a yellowish tint in the eyes is like hearing the first note of a song, the body often follows with softer harmonies that are easy to miss in a busy day. I want to help you recognize those quieter clues and translate them into clear, doable actions, changes that fit real life, from school drop-offs and commutes to late-night emails and leftover pizza. Here are patterns worth your attention. Persistent itching without a visible rash, especially at night. Urine that looks darker than usual. Think strong tea, even when you're drinking normal amounts of water. Stools that seem unusually pale or clay-colored. Fatigue that lingers despite decent sleep, or a sense of fullness under the right ribcage after meals. Occasional nausea, a drop in appetite, or easy bruising. None of these automatically spell danger on their own, but together they tell a story about bile flow, bilirubin handling, and how the liver is keeping up with its endless to-do list. If several of these are present, it's wise to book a professional evaluation and bring a simple symptom log. You are not overreacting. You are being proactive. Understanding the why makes the what to do less mysterious. Bile acts like a natural dish soap for fats. When flow is sluggish, digestion feels heavy, and pigments like bilirubin may build up. The liver also makes proteins that help your blood clot. If production falters, bruises can appear more easily. That's the physiology. Now, the daily reality. Our routines either lighten or load up that physiology. And the routines most common in North American life are not random. They're engineered for convenience and craveability. Consider the breakfast aisle. Many cereals marketed as wholesome are dessert in disguise. A bowl that tastes like childhood might carry a sugar surge and corn syrup that your liver has to process before 9 a.m. Try this instead: warm oats topped with blueberries, a spoon of almond butter, and cinnamon. It takes 5 minutes. You'll get soluble fiber that supports gut health and steadier energy, which indirectly helps the liver by smoothing the spikes and dips that drive late-day snacking. Lunch habits matter too. Refill culture, free sodas, bottomless sweet tea, adds up far more quickly than we realize. Make a rule that works anywhere. First refill is sparkling water with lemon or lime. Keep it simple and repeatable. If you like a midday caffeine lift, choose plain, filtered coffee rather than syrup-packed concoctions. Moderation is your friend. 2 cups spaced out are different from 4 doubles in an afternoon. Weekends can be the tricky part. A couple of drinks at a backyard barbecue, then a PM pain reliever or a cold flu syrup after a day in the sun. This pairing is easy to stumble into and hard on your liver. Read labels with intention. Many over-the-counter products contain acetaminophen, and combining them or mixing with alcohol is a known strain. Create a simple buffer. Alcohol-free days after social events, and 1 medicine at a time according to the label. If in doubt, call a pharmacist. They are a goldmine of practical guidance. Energy drinks deserve a quick note as well. They can pack significant niacin and other compounds that, in large amounts, are not gentle on the liver. If you rely on them to push through afternoons, experiment with a different sequence. Hydrate first, take a brisk 5-minute walk, then choose a small coffee or tea. It's not about perfection, it's about stacking choices that your body can sustain. What about the lure of a dramatic cleanse? Extreme detox plans promise purity, but often deliver fatigue, headaches, and rebound cravings. Your liver already detoxifies. Your job is to remove friction. Build meals around vegetables, leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, lean proteins, fish, poultry, beans, and intact grains, oats, brown rice, quinoa. Cook in ways that reduce smoke and char, roasting at moderate heat, steaming, simmering. Use herbs and spices in culinary amounts for flavor. Garlic, ginger, turmeric, black pepper, torn basil. Save concentrated extracts for a conversation with your clinician, especially if you take prescription drugs, have gallbladder issues, or are pregnant. One more habit flies under the radar: grapefruit. It's a nutritious fruit, but it can interact with certain medications by affecting how your liver processes them. That doesn't mean you must avoid it forever. It means you should check your prescriptions and ask your clinician or pharmacist about interactions. Knowledge here prevents unwelcome surprises. If the earlier eye check was your first practical step, consider these your next set. Keep a 1-page log of symptoms and meals for the next 10 days. Swap 1 sweetened drink a day for sparkling water with citrus. Choose oats and berries at breakfast at least 3 mornings a week. And carve out 2 alcohol-free days after any social event that includes drinking. These are low drama and high leverage. You'll likely notice steadier energy, better digestion, and a calmer relationship with hunger. Remember, this guidance is educational and does not replace personal medical advice. If the clues you've noticed worry you, that worry is your body's way of asking for a professional check-in. Take that step with confidence. You are allowed to ask for clarity. You are building momentum, not chasing fear. The small decisions you make today, repeated tomorrow, are the quietest but most reliable safeguards your liver could ask for. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just keep your results small. It could also lead to serious side effects, particularly if you have underlying conditions or take medications. Please don't skip it. You've started paying attention to the quiet signals: subtle yellowing under daylight, changes in energy, patterns that make more sense now. There's another layer I want to reveal, and it hides in plain sight: the little rituals that fill an ordinary North American day. None of them feels dramatic on its own, which is why they slip past our guard. But when they stack, refills, late-night slices, PM pills after a backyard beer, they nudge the liver to work overtime. My aim isn't to shame familiar comforts. It's to help you edit them so your body can keep up without constant triage. Morning often sets the tone. Many breakfast cereals and granola bars that wear a health halo are dessert in disguise. A bowl or bar that tastes like nostalgia may deliver a sugar surge before you've even opened your inbox. Try a 5-minute pivot. Warm oats with blueberries and a spoon of almond or peanut butter, sprinkled with cinnamon. If you love eggs, pair them with sautéed spinach on whole grain toast. What you've done there is lower the sugar load and add fiber and micronutrients. Less turbulence for your liver, steadier focus for you. Coffee culture deserves a friendly audit. Plain filtered coffee in moderation can fit well for many people. What strains the system is the parade of syrups and whipped toppings that often come with it. If you adore a flavored latte, consider a half-sweet version or shift to a small size. Alternate with brewed coffee plus a splash of milk. You keep the ritual, lose the sugar avalanche, and your taste buds adjust surprisingly fast. By lunchtime, the refill habit quietly takes over. Free soda top-offs, bottomless sweet tea, even zero drinks that train a sweeter palate, they add up. Create one universal rule you can use anywhere. First refill is sparkling water with lemon or lime. This single switch rescues you from dozens of casual sugar hits every week. If you're a condiment fan, peek at labels on barbecue sauce and ketchup. Many are more sugar than tomato. A spoonful on a burger is one thing. A daily habit across sandwiches, fries, and pizza is another. Try mustard, salsa, or a quick yogurt herb sauce as flavorful stand-ins. The afternoon slump is when energy drinks call your name. They're engineered to feel helpful, but some pack high doses of niacin and blends that aren't gentle in large amounts. Experiment with a different sequence: tall glass of water, brief walk or a set of stair climbs, then a small coffee or tea. Add a protein-rich snack, Greek yogurt, a handful of nuts, hummus, and carrots. You'll feel more even-keeled and less likely to crash at dinner. Evening patterns can be sneaky. Grilling and game nights are cultural staples, and they can absolutely fit into a supportive routine. What helps is turning down the char and turning up plants on the plate. Excessive smoke and blackened edges aren't great for anyone. Marinate meats to reduce charring, keep heat moderate, add veggies to the grill, and rotate the spotlight. Sometimes the star is a big salad with beans, sometimes it's chili loaded with peppers and onions, sometimes it's salmon with lemon and herbs. If pizza is a weekly tradition, double the side salad and save extra slices for lunch rather than polishing off the box at midnight. Alcohol needs its own calm, clear moment. The liver handles alcohol on a deadline, which means other tasks wait their turn. Layering drinks with acetaminophen, common in PM pain relievers and cold flu combos, multiplies the burden. Read labels, don't double up on medicines with the same active ingredient, and build buffer days after social events. None of this asks you to declare a permanent no. It asks you to be intentional so your body has room to recover. There's also the hidden sugar that lives in places you don't expect. Fruity yogurts, so-called wellness shots, store-bought smoothies, even savory sauces. A quick label glance for added sugars per serving is eye-opening. If the number surprises you, try the unsweetened version and add fruit yourself. With yogurt, plain Greek plus berries and walnuts is rich, satisfying, and far friendlier to your metabolic rhythm. Late-night habits matter more than most people think. Long evenings at a screen, mindless snacking, then crawling into bed too full. Your sleep quality drops, and the next day's cravings spike. Set a kitchen curfew that feels humane, not harsh. 2 hours before bed, switch to herbal tea or water, dim the lights a bit, and charge your phone away from the pillow. You'll wake up with a steadier appetite and more energy to prepare food that actually supports you. Movement is another quiet ally many of us underuse. Don't wait for a perfect gym schedule. 10 minutes after meals, walking the block, pacing the hallway, tidying with purpose, pays dividends. This simple ritual improves how your body handles the food you just ate, which lightens downstream workload. If your job is desk-heavy, set a timer for a 2-minute stretch break every hour. Your liver loves good circulation as much as your brain does. Hidden in these patterns is the most underestimated combination: irregular eating with long fasts, followed by huge portions and sweet drinks. That rhythm batters energy, digestion, and mood. Break it by planning one anchor meal a day that's balanced on its own. Half the plate vegetables, a palm-sized protein, a scoop of intact grains or potatoes, and a spoon of healthy fat. When you anchor once, it's easier to make steadier choices the rest of the day. Let's turn insights into action. You can start immediately. Swap one sugary drink for sparkling water with citrus. Cap flavored coffees at one small serving and keep the rest plain. Read medication labels out loud before taking them. Pick 3 weeknights to eat dinner at a table without screens. Walk for 10 minutes after your largest meal. And pack a backup snack in your bag so hunger doesn't force a fast food detour. These aren't dramatic, but they compound. This is education, not personalized medical advice. If you're managing a condition, on prescription medications, pregnant, or recovering from illness, partner with your clinician to customize these changes. You deserve adjustments that fit your life and your lab results. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just keep your results small. It could also lead to serious side effects, particularly if you have underlying conditions or take medications. Please don't skip it. You've trimmed the friction, the extra sugar, the mindless refills, the late-night grazing, and the body already has more room to breathe. Now let's build the supportive side of the equation: simple, evidence-informed habits and kitchen choices that help your liver do its quiet work. The goal is not to micromanage every bite. It's to create an environment where your physiology doesn't have to shout to be heard. Start with the most overlooked ally: plain water. Not gallon chugs at midnight, but steady sips from morning to evening. Keep a glass at your desk, a bottle in your bag, and aim for consistency rather than heroics. If you crave fizz, reach for sparkling water with a twist of lemon or lime. This habit sounds ordinary because it is, and that's precisely why it's powerful. When you're hydrated, digestion moves, energy steadies, and your body's natural clearance systems have one less obstacle. Coffee can be a friend when it's simple and moderate. Plain, filtered coffee, black or with a splash of milk, works for many people. If you're sensitive to caffeine, stop early in the day or choose half-caff. Trade syrupy, whipped cream versions for something you can recognize in a kitchen. Green and black tea also have a place for those who prefer a gentler lift. The key is to protect sleep, because sleep is the quiet repair window your liver and brain bargain for every night. Plants do the heavy lifting. Build meals around color and fiber. Leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, carrots, peppers, onions, tomatoes. If cruciferous vegetables feel too intense, try them roasted with olive oil and lemon or lightly steamed and tossed with garlic. Beans and lentils are MVPs, budget-friendly, satisfying, and kind to blood sugar when paired with vegetables and grains. Oats, brown rice, and quinoa deliver fiber that feeds your gut microbiome, which in turn supports metabolic balance. None of this requires perfection. It requires repetition. Protein matters for satiety and repair. Think fish, poultry, eggs, tofu, tempeh, beans. If your default is processed deli meat, rotate toward roasted chicken or tuna with olive oil and herbs. If you're grilling, marinate to reduce charring and cook at a moderate heat. Add a pile of vegetables to the grill and make room for them on the plate. Flavor is not a luxury. It's the bridge that takes you from good intentions to daily practice. Culinary spices are small but mighty when used as food, not as megadoses. Turmeric paired with a pinch of black pepper, fresh ginger, garlic, cinnamon, and herbs like basil and parsley. All of these elevate meals without courting trouble. Focus on cooking amounts, not spoonfuls of powder swallowed raw. If you're curious about concentrated extracts or popular supplements like milk thistle, N-acetylcysteine, or high-dose curcumin, pause and talk with your clinician or pharmacist first. Interactions with medications, gallbladder issues, or pregnancy are real considerations. Food first keeps things both effective and safe. The way you cook is as important as what you cook. High-heat searing, heavy smoke, and blackened edges are not your allies. Think golden, not charred. Bake, steam, simmer, or sauté over moderate heat. Use olive oil or avocado oil in reasonable amounts and let acidity, the squeeze of citrus, a splash of vinegar, do part of the flavor work so you don't need a heavy hand with sugar or salt. Batch cook a pot of beans, a tray of roasted vegetables, and a grain on Sunday. Future you will make better choices when the good options are already made. Movement is a nutrient in its own right. 10 minutes of walking after meals is a potent, underappreciated practice that helps your body handle glucose and lipids from the food you just ate. If you like structure, schedule a short walk after your largest meal. If you like freedom, keep comfortable shoes by the door and decide on the fly. Strength work twice a week. Bodyweight squats, push-ups against a counter, resistance bands, adds muscle that quietly improves metabolic health. You don't need an app to make this count. You need consistency and a willingness to begin. Sleep is non-negotiable and wonderfully modifiable. A regular wind down, lights lower, screens away, a short stretch, perhaps a warm shower, signals your nervous system to downshift. Late-night eating sabotages this rhythm, so set a gentle kitchen curfew that still feels humane. Your next day will be less snack-driven, which in turn supports better choices and better energy. Alcohol, if present, benefits from boundaries. Decide ahead of time how many drinks fit your context, pour slowly, eat food, and build alcohol-free days into your week. If you take over-the-counter medicines, especially anything with acetaminophen, read labels and avoid stacking products with the same active ingredient. If you're uncertain, a pharmacist's advice can save you from accidental overload. Grapefruit is a small but memorable footnote. It's nutritious, yet it can alter how certain medications are processed. That doesn't make it good or bad. It makes it something to ask about. Bring your medication list to your next appointment or call the pharmacy and get clarity that keeps you safe while still enjoying the foods you love. Here's an easy, repeatable template you can live with. Start the day with water and a protein fiber breakfast, like oats with berries and nuts or eggs with greens. Make lunch a vegetable-heavy bowl with beans or grilled fish and a whole grain. Anchor dinner with half a plate of vegetables, a palm-sized protein, and a modest portion of intact carbs. Season generously with herbs and spices in cooking amounts, finish with citrus, and walk for 10 minutes after the largest meal. If you hit only 2 of these on a hectic day, that still counts. Remember, this is education, not a diagnosis or prescription. If you have a medical condition, take prescription drugs, are pregnant, or are recovering from illness, personalize these ideas with your clinician. The real victory here is not a perfect day, it's a steady direction. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just keep your results small, it could also lead to serious side effects, particularly if you have underlying conditions or take medications. Please don't skip it. You've cleared space for better choices, fewer sugar spikes, steadier meals, calmer cooking, and now the details begin to matter. The truth is, a lot of well-meaning health routines backfire not because the ingredient is wrong, but because the method is. It's the difference between turning a key and forcing the lock. I want to help you spot the quiet mistakes that can sour results, then show you how small adjustments protect your liver and make your efforts actually pay off. The first trap is the more is better reflex, especially with teas and spices. A gentle kitchen infusion is not the same as a simmering cauldron. When herbs like ginger or turmeric are boiled hard for long stretches, you don't just concentrate flavors, you can concentrate compounds that irritate sensitive stomachs or simply make the drink unpleasant enough to abandon by day 3. A wiser approach is heat that respects the plant. Hot water below a rolling boil, patient steeping, and the humility to let taste be your guide. If your tongue burns or your throat scratches, that's your body hinting to dial back. Right on the heels of overconcentration is the spoon problem. Somewhere along the line, tablespoon-sized scoops of powdered spices migrated from chili pots to daily shots. A full spoon of turmeric with an aggressive shake of black pepper can overwhelm digestion. It's also a fast track to stained mugs, stained countertops, and a reluctance to repeat the ritual. Spices belong in food for a reason. They mingle with fats and acids, and your palate can self-regulate. Favor culinary amounts, pinches and half teaspoons folded into real meals rather than dry gulps. Homemade tonics present another friendly hazard. A mason jar with fruit, honey, spices, and a generous splash of alcohol can feel old-world and wholesome. It's also easy to underestimate the amount of sugar and ethanol that ends up in a healthy nightcap. If you enjoy infusions, prioritize water-based versions, keep sweeteners light, and measure. Don't eyeball. Your liver keeps score whether or not you do. Then there are the extract shortcuts. Concentrated green tea capsules, high-dose curcumin, liver support blends. These can be appropriate for some people, but context is everything. Dose matters, duration matters, and interactions matter. The label saying natural doesn't equal risk-free. If you're taking prescription medications, have gallbladder issues, are pregnant, or manage chronic conditions, press pause and talk with a clinician or pharmacist before adding concentrated supplements. Food-level use in cooking is a different conversation entirely. Grapefruit deserves its own post-it note on the fridge. It's a nutrient-dense fruit, yet it can interfere with how certain medications are processed. The fix is simple. Look up your medications, ask your pharmacist, and decide intentionally. The goal isn't to ban a food you like, it's to prevent a quiet tug-of-war between breakfast and your prescription. Storage and sourcing rarely make headlines, but they shape outcomes. Spices that sit for years above a steamy stove lose potency and can pick up off flavors. Loose teas and dried herbs fare best in airtight containers, away from heat and light. Buy from places with good turnover. Use what you buy. When you cook, wash produce under running water and dry it. Small hygiene steps reduce the chance that you'll blame the wrong thing if your stomach protests. Heat control is another subtle skill with outsized benefits. High heat that smokes the pan creates a harsh kitchen and harsh flavors. Instead, imagine you're coaxing, not conquering, moderate heat, a film of oil rather than a puddle, and a finish with lemon or vinegar so you don't lean too hard on sugar or salt. If you grill, marinate to reduce charring, keep flames in check, and give vegetables real estate next to the proteins. Golden, not blackened, is a compass you can feel good about following. Label literacy protects you from friendly fire. A PM pain reliever after a couple of beers at a cookout, a cold flu syrup layered on top of a multi-symptom pill, a daily energy drink that quietly piles on niacin. Accidental stacking taxes the very organ you're trying to support. Read labels out loud, check active ingredients, and avoid doubling up. If uncertain, a 2-minute chat with a pharmacist can save you from an unwanted chemistry experiment. Hydration mistakes also hide in plain sight. Chugging gallons late at night isn't a virtue. It wakes you, fragments sleep, and leaves you foggy. Focus on even intake across the day. If you crave flavor, use citrus, mint, or a splash of 100% juice in sparkling water. With coffee and tea, timing beats total volume. Earlier is easier on sleep, and sleep is a liver ally you can't fake during the day. Finally, beware the perfection trap. All or nothing is seductive. A 3-day juice purge, a 0-carb sprint, a 5 a.m. boot camp after 6 months off. The body often answers such drama with headaches, cravings, and a rebound toward exactly what you were trying to avoid. Sustainable beats extreme. The point is not a flawless week, it's a gentle tilt toward balance that you can repeat without white-knuckling. Let's convert these cautions into a simple field guide you can keep on your fridge. Infuse, don't boil herbs to death. Aim for hot water and patience, not aggressive heat. Use spices in food amounts. Pinches and half teaspoons marry with meals. Avoid dry spoonfuls. Build water-based tonics with modest sweeteners. Skip DIY alcohol health shots. Ask before you add extracts. Check for medication interactions and health conditions. Store herbs and spices airtight, cool, and dark. Buy smaller amounts and refresh seasonally. Cook for golden, not charred. Marinate proteins, share grill space with vegetables, finish with acidity. Read medication labels, especially for acetaminophen and overlapping ingredients. Don't stack. Hydrate evenly. Front-load water early. Taper at night to protect sleep. Trade extremes for repetition. Small, boring wins compound into big changes. This is education, not a replacement for medical care. If you notice persistent yellowing of the eyes or skin, dark urine, very light stools, or itching without a rash, especially in combination, schedule a professional evaluation. Bring your notes. They're a gift to any clinician trying to help you. You are not chasing perfection. You're learning a craft. Every time you choose gentler heat, a calmer dose, or clearer labels, you widen the margin for your liver to do its quiet work well. Keep going. Your energy, skin, sleep, and mood will tell you you're on the right track. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just keep your results small. It could also lead to serious side effects, particularly if you have underlying conditions or take medications. Please don't skip it. You've done the quiet, unglamorous work, reading labels, dialing down the sugar, choosing gentler heat in the kitchen, building meals that look more like color palettes than spreadsheets. It's time to bring the pieces together and make the central idea crystal clear. If the whites of your eyes trend yellow under natural light, that is a meaningful signal. It doesn't demand panic. It deserves attention. The smart response is twofold. Seek professional evaluation to understand the cause, and at the same time, create daily conditions that support your liver's workload instead of working against it. Clarity is a kind of kindness. The liver is not a gossip. It rarely complains. That's why the earliest hints matter so much. Noticing a change and acting thoughtfully can prevent a small issue from turning into a complicated one. A healthcare professional can distinguish benign patterns, like a mild inherited bump in bilirubin, from situations that need testing or treatment. Your part is to arrive prepared. A short log of what you've seen, what you've been eating, any medicines or supplements you take, and when the changes began. Bring that context and you turn a guessing game into a conversation. While you schedule that check-in, there's practical support you can start right in your kitchen. Think of it as a daily ritual that nudges digestion, hydration, and comfort in your favor. Here is a simple food-level preparation that fits easily into North American routines, respects sensitive stomachs, and avoids the mistakes we've just learned to sidestep. Warm a mug of water to just below boiling. If you're using an electric kettle with settings, aim for the tea range. If not, heat until you see steam rising and small bubbles forming on the pot walls, then turn off the heat. Add a few slices of fresh ginger, 3 to 4 thin rounds are plenty, and a scant half teaspoon of turmeric powder. Stir gently, cover, and let it infuse for 7 to 10 minutes without boiling. Strain into your mug so you're not swallowing sediment. Now finish with a squeeze of fresh lemon and the smallest pinch of black pepper. Think a light dusting, not a shake. Sip slowly. That sequence preserves aroma, tames harshness, and lets the flavors feel like part of a meal rather than medicine. A few friendly guardrails make this ritual safer and more sustainable. Keep the serving to once a day, 3 to 5 days a week. If you're prone to reflux or have a sensitive stomach, start with a shorter infusion and fewer ginger slices. If you're pregnant, have gallbladder disease, take blood thinners, or use any prescription medicines, check with your clinician or pharmacist before making this a regular habit, especially because spices and citrus can interact with certain conditions and drugs. Store your turmeric and pepper in airtight containers away from heat and sunlight, and buy amounts you can finish within a season so the flavors stay bright. Pairing this warm infusion with real food amplifies the benefits. In the morning, follow it with oats, berries, and a spoon of nuts or seeds. At lunch, enjoy it after a vegetable-heavy bowl with beans or grilled fish. In the evening, let it close the kitchen 2 hours before bed so your sleep stays uninterrupted. The ritual is small on purpose. You don't need to overhaul your life to notice steadier digestion and a calmer appetite. You need repetition. Because momentum thrives on simplicity, here's the promised bonus in one tidy checklist that fits North American habits. Swap bottomless sodas for sparkling water with citrus. Keep a can in the car and a bottle at your desk. Choose plain filtered coffee or tea over syrup-loaded drinks. Cap sweet versions at one small serving. Build a default breakfast. Oats with berries and cinnamon, or eggs with greens and whole grain toast. Double vegetables at dinner and save half your pizza for lunch. Add a side salad by default. Plan alcohol-free days after any social event. Avoid layering PM pain relievers or cold flu combos on top of drinks. Walk 10 minutes after your largest meal and stretch before bed. Protect sleep like a prescription. Ask about grapefruit interactions if you take medications. Get clarity, and then enjoy food intentionally. Notice the pattern. None of these demand perfect willpower. They work because they're specific, repeatable, and friendly to a busy life. That's the real secret to supporting your liver, and by extension, your energy, mood, and focus. The early sign in your eyes was an invitation to pay attention. Your daily choices are how you RSVP. This is educational guidance, not a diagnosis or a substitute for personal medical care. If yellowing persists, if dark urine or pale stools appear, if itching without a rash continues, especially in combination, seek professional evaluation. You are not overreacting by asking for help. You're showing excellent stewardship of your health. I want to leave you with a simple, encouraging charge. Trade drama for consistency. When you choose water over a third refill, when you cook gently and season generously, when you walk after dinner and dim the lights early, you are voting for your future self. It's not flashy, but it's powerful. Share what you've learned with someone you care about. Leave a like so more people find this guidance, and subscribe so we can keep building practical health together, one steady step at a time. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just keep your results small. It could also lead to serious side effects, particularly if you have underlying conditions or take medications. Please don't skip it.